Exploring the Capital Wasteland can lead to some unexpected horrors. Never knowing what lies around the corner could lead to an untimely demise, or sweet, sweet loot. Hello everyone, my name is Robbie and welcome back to Fallout 3. Where we last left off on the tale of Thomas Tickle, Thomas left the security of his vault in search for his father. Armed with the lead, Thomas sets off to find him, only to be distracted. While heading to do the next task of Moira's survival guide, I find a Wastelander. But before I could react, the explosives strapped to her explode. But she wasn't alone. As I finished off the mole rats, a small gang of raiders attacked me. With most of the raiders dealt with, I noticed one more raider on her knees. Perhaps she was surrendering, but I wasn't taking any prisoners. While attempting to get back on track, I find another distraction when a little boy named Brian Wilkes pleads for help. His hometown of Greyditch has been taken over by giant fire ants and enlists my help. I agree to help and start blasting the ants. I notice the dog I found in the last episode must be a rare breed of dog, given he can go toe to toe with a giant ant and take flames to the face without even whimpering. Whoa! Dogmeat, you alright there, bud? With most of the ants cleared, I head to Brian's house to check on his dad. Yeah, he's not looking too good. Oh sweet, a Chinese rifle! I check back in with Brian and tell him the bad news. He's obviously not having a great time at the moment, so I tell him I can make it better by getting rid of his ant problem. To do this, I enter a nearby metro tunnel and find my way through, you guessed it, more ants. I eventually meet Dr. Lesko, the scientist that ran experiments on the ants and caused them to breathe fire. He also sounds a little like Dr. Farnsworth from Futurama.
I'll have none of this from you. I have far more important things to do. Oh, goodness me, that rhymed. How marvelous.
He takes off running into the ant-infested tunnels and eventually succumbs to the flames. I take his password and use his terminal to unlock the hatchery, which leads me to a cavern full of fire ant guardians. With each ant I kill, I grow closer and closer to the source. With these stronger ants, I switch to heavier firepower. Alright, looks like I got him. Oh my god! As I turn the corner, I come face to face with the Ant Queen, and for some reason, a Protectron. I use the distraction as an opportunity to get as many hits in as I can. With the Ant Queen taken care of, Greatitch is safe. Well, what's left of it. I return to Brian and he tells me that the ants are taken care of, and now I have to find Brian a place to stay. For some reason, he won't go to Megaton, which is like right down the road, so I have to find another place for him to stay. But we'll have to put that on the back burner for now. I continue my next task of the survival guide when I get distracted yet again. This time it's by a Russian guy with 2 skimpy dressed women. Anyway, I test out the mole rat repellent stick on mole rats, and I can say it definitely repels them. From life. For some reason, there are also raiders down here, but I got raider repellent on me as well. I then fall in a raider ambush. You see, it caught me off guard because I didn't expect raiders to be in a mole rat den. After the raiders are dealt with, I loot their corpses and continue whacking mole rats. On the surface, I come across a lone mirelurk minding his own business, so I shake him down. I return to Moira and tell her about the repellent, and she gives me my next task: break a leg. To do this, I go outside and jump off the balcony to... On my second attempt, I succeed and limp back to Moira. My next task is to place an observer in a mirelurk den. The catch is, I can't kill any of them, so I run past them, place the observer, and leave. Moira tells me I have to learn the history of Rivet City, the oldest known settlement in the Wasteland. On the way there, I get ambushed by Talon Company mercs. The fight proves to be difficult, even with the combat shotgun. I run by a random Wastelander that draws their gunfire away from me, and I take a moment to chuck grenades at the nearest sucker. In a pro gamer move, I take his armor and re-enter the fight. I continue on to find the Citadel, headquarters of the Brotherhood of Steel. They have cool armor and I asked for some. They said no. Heartbroken, I continue on to see super mutants picking a fight with the Brotherhood. They didn't last long. At all. Down the road, I see a Wastelander running away from a creature in the dead of night. I open fire on the creature that turned out to be a Deathclaw. I whittled its health down enough and make a stand with my combat shotgun to finish it off. Finally, I made it to Rivet City. Formed out of an old aircraft carrier, this place is a maze. I hate navigating the hallways that all look the same. It makes things difficult. Eventually, I find the science lab where a Dr. Zimmer tasked me with finding an android. Dr. Zimmer's from a place called the Commonwealth. There, they made androids that look like humans, for some reason, so I gotta track one down. I then find myself trading and looking at the different weapons they have available at the market. Okay, this makes Rivet City a little bit more bearable. Most of these guns are from the DC Arsenal mod, which adds weapons from the Mojave into DC. I didn't expect these to be laid out here like this, so I take advantage of it. Of course, I'll pay them back later. While exploring the town in totally legal ways, I take a holotape that has information about the android I'm tracking down. I ask the local doctor if he knew anything, and he gives me another holotape. Nothing solid as of yet, so we'll keep looking. Another job I get is from Abraham Washington. He wants me to steal the Declaration of Independence from the National Archives. I have enough on my plate already, so I'll save it for later. Later, I'm approached by a lady from the Railroad, a faction that helps androids escape the Commonwealth. She tells me her whole philosophy and leaves. I then find Brian's cousin, and she agrees to take him in. I finally track down a member of the council to tell me the history of the city. He doesn't tell me everything, so I ask the barkeep if she had any information on someone who knew. I failed the speech check, but she tells me who knows about the history anyway. So much for speech checks in this game. I go to the abandoned part of the ship and fight through mirelurks. I find a crazy guy named Pinkerton, and he gives me the history so I can complete my task. On my way out, I pick a fight with some super mutants at the Jefferson Memorial, just as an excuse to use my new weapons. Needless to say, I'm pleasantly satisfied. On the way to Moira, I stopped by Greyditch to tell Brian he can go to Rivet City and stay with his cousin, completing his quest. I turn into Moira again, and she tells me the next assignment is to learn about robots. But first, I bribe her to tell me about someone who knows anything about the android, and she tells me it's a crazy guy named Pinkerton. Hey, wait a second, but that's gonna have to wait. On the way to the robot facility, I get ambushed by a raider gang. I almost get blown up by a raider with a grenade launcher, but Dogme and I take him out. As we push through the town, we fight the rest of the gang. While exploring, a grate opens up, most likely to be a trap. I jump down anyway, and get rewarded with more loot. I also get rewarded with more raiders to fight. When I get to the surface, I make the shot of a lifetime. Look at that. And I continue on. I meet the Brotherhood outcast. They broke off from the original Brotherhood in search of new technology. They too won't let me have their armor. A shame too, because I really like the color of it. I know I'm close to the robot facility when I spot a robot in the wild. I install the widget to the computer, and the robots wake up and start fighting. Honestly, the whole trip is kind of pointless, but it's what Moira wants. The last task of the survival guide takes me to Arlington Library. I fight through raiders, take the archive data, and finally finish the survival guide. I then head to Pinkerton in Rivet City, and he tells me the android is a guy named Harkness, leader of Rivet City Security. He gives me the recall code and I go off to find Harkness. I find him on his break and proceed to tell him his life is a lie. Instead of turning him in, I tell him I'll take out Dr. Zimmer, and he gives me his awesome plasma rifle as a thanks. I find Dr. Zimmer in his room and take him and his bodyguard out. After finishing off those quests, I head back out into the Wasteland where I find some dead raiders with their loot still on them. As I turn around the corner, I see a Yaogua and use my pro gamer moves to take it out. Then I come across the biggest raider encampment I've ever seen. I see they have a behemoth locked behind an electric fence. It would be a shame if that generator blew up. The behemoth lets loose on the raiders, and I take it out once he's finished. I move into the building and push deeper into the underground cavern. I find a friendly trader in the middle of the cavern, completely unfazed by the gunfight. It gives me a good opportunity to replenish my ammo. I continue through the cavern that leads to another connecting building. I finish off the remaining raiders and get rewarded with pink power armor, the power armor of love. But I don't have the skill for it yet. Realizing I lost track of time, I set back out into the waste to continue the search for my father. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for the reception on my last video. I know I didn't make it clear, but I plan on playing through all of Fallout 3 and New Vegas once I get to it. So if you want to see more, please subscribe to stay up to date. I'm Robbie. Have a good day, y'all.